The most shocking part about picking a worthy goal and then choosing to pursue that goal or that desire until the very end is that it makes change feel both necessary and threatening at the same time. And I think this is because, like, we realize that in order for us to get our goal or get our desire, we have to become a new person, that we couldn't have our desire as the people that we are now, and that we have to become a new person with new thoughts, new ways of thinking, new ways of feeling, and new ways of behaving in order to get our desires. And so, in that way, change feels necessary because you know at the beginning, once you say your desire, there's a part of you that knows that there's a lot of changes that are gonna come your way because you can't have it the way that you are right now. And so that makes the process feel both necessary and threatening. Necessary because you know that you cannot have your desire as you are right now, and threatening because you know that some parts of you are going to have to die in order to get your desire. And those parts may or may not go down quietly, depending on how old they are, depending on how strong they are in your current personality, depending on how stubborn you are. But that's I think that there's always a price to pay when you are pursuing a new goal or pursuing a new desire. The only way that you could get that is by becoming someone new. And the only way that you become someone new is by letting your old self die little by little every single day until the new identity becomes your new I am. But until you get to that point, there is a period of mourning and a period that feels like loss, because in a way, you are losing parts of yourself on this journey. You cannot bring everything with you. Some of parts of you, some of traits that you have, some habits that you have, some ways of thinking that you have right now are going to have to die for you to get your desire. And so I think that's what makes this process feel necessary and threatening. And so when you first start off on your journey, you don't necessarily know the extent of the change and the extent of the new identity. And I think some ways you can guess of how extensive the change to your personality and to your identity is going to have to be, depending on how big you think this goal is or how important this goal is to you. For example, let's say if my goal is to get an extra $5,000, and to me, $5,000 feels easy to get, then the extent of the change on my identity, my personality, and my thinking and my habits, that change is going to be pretty small, because to me, this is a simple goal. But if I want to get $1 million and I consider $1 million to be hard to get, then the extent of my personality and my identity and my behaviors are going to have to change to a larger extent, simply because I think that $1 million is harder to get. And so your view of your goal is going to dictate how drastic the personality change is going to have to be, and how many things that you're going to have to change to get there. I think a lot of that is based on your perception of your desire and your perception of your goal. And if you see your goal as something that's far away, something that feels impossible, something that you've never had before perhaps, then there is a part of you that knows that you're going to have to change to a larger extent to get to the finish line. And the person that you are now is going to have to make room for your new traits, your new identity, your new personality, and your way of thinking. And so there is going to be a period of mourning and a period of intense inner transformation before the new identity starts to settle in. And so I think that choosing a worthy goal is going to change your life in a drastic way, because a worthy goal will take you on an unexpected journey, and you don't always know the extent of the change that you are going to have to endure or to go through in this process when you first start out on the journey. And that's why I think that our new identities get upgraded bit by bit, and that's a good thing, because if the whole new identity was installed overnight and you got 20 things that you had to do, to get your desire by tomorrow, then that would be probably overwhelming. But these ideas come to you slowly over time, and then it's a matter of you pursuing that, trusting your intuition first of all, and understanding that this is information coming from your desire, or from that higher version of yourself that already has your desire. And along the way, your future self, or whoever, God, whoever you think, is sending you these bits of information that will help you upgrade yourself to the version of you that has that desire. So this process is an intense time in everybody's life. I know that people on YouTube like to come on here and talk about manifestation like it's this fun little game and it's easy peasy and anybody can do it. And in a sense, they can, anybody can do it, because the information is out there for everybody to see and it's free. And so if you want to get started on this process, you have all of the tools that you need to do so. However, the part that people don't talk about on YouTube is that reality creation is going to take you on a journey that will end with you having your desire on one hand, but on the other hand, having a completely new identity, and completely new thoughts, and completely new ways of thinking, ways of feeling, and ways of behaving. And you will have a completely new personal reality, and that means that the old you must die and must make room for this new version of yourself. And that can, be a little bit intense at times. And there are going to be times where you want to give up, because you feel like the changes are happening at a rapid pace. But I think it's good to know this at the beginning of the journey and to go into it with an open mind, not with a naive sense that like, oh, like easy peasy. I mean, it is easy peasy in a sense because your goal is the one that's pulling you forward to your final destination. But there are many times on the journey where you're going to have to bring yourself on track and bring yourself to your desire and to choose over and over and over again, sometimes 1,000,000 times a day, to stay the course and to keep going. And I think this is what makes this process and change in general feel necessary and threatening at the same time. If these kinds of topics sound interesting to you, then I think you would really like my new book, which is called Mastering the Middle. In this book, I talk about something that I refer to as the middle, which is essentially the gap between the time that you set a goal and the time that you receive that goal or that desire, and what to do in that gap of time. Because the middle is not a passive time to wait around and hope for the best. There's a lot of internal changes that are happening within the middle that need to be acted upon, that need to be implemented now. And so I think this book is a great guide for people that feel like they're stuck somewhere between their goal and their desire and need a little bit of encouragement and need a way to get back on track. I think this book does exactly that. So if that sounds interesting to you, I will leave the link for you in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.